Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 New Jersey International Film Festival Filmmaker Q&A session. Today, we have a wonderful filmmaker here on hand. We'll be talking to her about her film for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. But I wanted to also let you know a little bit about the film festival before we begin. The 28th Annual New Jersey International Film Festival will be taking place online as well as in person. There'll be a series of screenings that will be taking place in person at either 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock on their show dates, and all the films will be available for 24 hours on their show date. And the great thing about that is that if you start watching, let's say, on our first day, which is June 2nd, you can start watching at 10 p.m. and you still have 24 hours to finish watching it. So it's a really great thing. We're partnered with Eventive, and they've been streaming our film festival for the last 3 years due to COVID. And we've maintained our presence online because we've developed a new audience and we don't want to turn them away. So anyway, I have a wonderful filmmaker who I didn't know until after I read a little bit about her. She's a Rutgers grad. She was also the Daily Targum editor-in-chief. Andreana Loukidis is here, and we're going to be talking about her wonderful short film called Stay Behind. And this film actually was partially shot on the Rutgers campus as well, right, Adriana?
Yes, it was. If anyone knows where the Demarest dorms are, there's a little center with just a bunch of trees and grass, and that's where you can see a lot of the film was shot.
Wonderful. So tell our audience a little bit about your film.
Yeah, so my film is about young girl, college age. On Halloween night, she decides to lay down on the ground and refuses to get back up. That's kind of the short of it. But really, it's a conversation between two people, two characters, and existing. And if you can take a break from existing, or if you constantly have to be on the move, and what it's like to be on the move. And it was a very cathartic film for me personally. And so I hope it's similar for audiences as well.
Well, I think the first thing that the judges really, really loved about your film was the costumes. I mean, they thought the young gal who is kind of going through this crisis as a scarecrow is really wonderful. And the guardian angel comes in to kind of talk to her. He's done up really well as well. And so it is taking place on Halloween, correct? And that's why they're
Yes.
dressed up that way.
Yes.
And you really wonder for a while if he really isn't the guardian angel. I mean, maybe he is. Was that something that you intended to kind of keep the audience guessing?
Yeah, I think what I wanted specifically was our female protagonist, she's dressed as a scarecrow and also in a raincoat, right? So there is there's a lack of synergy in who she is and who she wants to present herself as, right? And this whole idea of Halloween being a moment where we dress up as these characters, I then wanted to have her foil, or the person that she talks to, not necessarily be someone that's reliable in, is he here or is he not here? Is he just a student who may be a little bit, under the influence
Yeah,
of beer?
yeah.
Or is he an actual guardian angel that may not be the best at his job? And I think what that does is it lets us actually have a bit of an open conversation where it's not restricted by human to human contact. It's more about, I'm going to say whatever ridiculous thing is in my head because that's what's in my head and I just want to say it. And so I like the honesty that comes with that ambiguity for that guardian angel character for
Yeah,
sure.
you don't even know if they know each other. I mean, that was another thing I wondered when I watched the film. And I thought, well, maybe they do know each other, and it doesn't become clear. I think they just kind of meet on that evening. But I like the fact that you don't pin it down, and that's one of the beauties of the film. And the other thing that the judges liked, we received 711 films from around the world, and we're only showing 35. And we have different categories. We have student categories, short category, animation categories, and they're very competitive. And I think what the judges really liked about your film was the open-endedness of it, where you're not really sure if you're seeing somebody's dream because the film flashes to various locations and the match editing was really quite wonderful. So without giving too much away, that they don't just stay in one spot, and the dialogue continues when they appear at other places. So I kind of kept on thinking of It's a Wonderful Life and a movie like A Matter of Life and Death, which is all about these guardian angels that try to help, lead characters in distress. And so I wondered if you had seen those films and maybe they had played an influence in the making of this one, or maybe not.
Yeah, I actually was recommended to watch It's a Wonderful Life after I figured out the concept of my film.
Hmm.
And it's a different take on it.
Hmm.
I think my film kind of puts a little bit more immaturity, I guess, for lack of a better word, to it.
Right.
It's very much a film that allows itself to be a temper tantrum as opposed to being more of a philosophical look or good-hearted look at this question of existence. And I think that was especially important to me because a lot of the times you get people kind of looking down on that idea of, I just need to throw a temper tantrum right now. I just need to be dramatic. And that's also why we kind of, again, without giving too much away, flip back and forth with different settings, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I always struggled visually to showcase what this feeling feels like, right? To be tired. And
Yeah.
so how is that affected? How is the dialogue affected when we're in a different scenario entirely, right? And so I took a lot of inspiration actually from animated films specifically. And there's this, I'm forgetting the name of it now, but there's this one film you can find it on Netflix. It has a lot to do with water and being underwater and being around aquariums and different fish. And it really does change the way you look at just a simple conversation when suddenly the characters are somewhere that seems completely ethereal, right? So I really wanted to take advantage of that, of the chaos of a setting, or even just where we're filming on Rutgers campus, right? The whole idea of it was that here's this character sitting down, refusing to move, and she's surrounded by so much life. She's surrounded by cars honking, by kids screaming, and it's something that she's actively working against, right? So setting's important. I definitely took inspiration from these animated films that I watched. And It's a Wonderful Life is also just a very feel-good, different take on what I was trying to go for as well.
And The Wizard of Oz, too. I thought of that because of the scarecrow reference. But
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit about Olivia White. She's really great. And how did she end up getting the lead role in your film?
Yeah, so she's fantastic. I love her so much with all of my heart. But I found both of my actors on Backstage. This film it's my senior thesis for undergrad, so we had to find connections wherever we could, and sometimes it was just putting the word out there on Backstage Instagram, and that's how I found her. And she was the only person that I got who really wasn't afraid to play with the role and wasn't afraid to kind of make it her own. And she has a lot of energy, and you can kind of see that in specific moments. It's almost as if she's holding herself back, and that's still being told through the lens. And that's what I was really impressed with. But we had, even during our audition process, I remember one time I told her, can you do this scene as if you're a 5-year-old? And what would it be like being a kid? And she just took it and ran with it and was able, yeah. And what I really appreciate about her is her range and her ability to really understand that, you're sitting on a ground, it's kind of a stagnant role physically in some cases, but that doesn't mean that the energy and the aura that you need isn't going to be big, for lack of a better word, right? And she's very much an actor who can take that feedback and just run with it. So I really appreciated that about her.
What about the chemistry with Nicholas Galloway? I mean, you said you also got him from backstage. These are people that are not affiliated with the university, and you're working with people that you didn't know, but you got to
Mhm.
know during the process. How was the interaction between the lead actors? And
Yeah,
how long
so
did it take for the film to come together?
well, yeah, so the film, I was auditioning people for I want to say maybe a month and a half.
Hmm.
Um, and really it was narrowing down the roles individually, but also I wanted to get chemistry tests in because it's the interaction between the two characters is vital, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about Nico is that he is such a physical actor
Hmm.
and it comes through in his performance and he connects so well. I remember his audition. What I was impressed with him is that he just started talking about his character and it was him, right? It wasn't he didn't necessarily have questions as much as he had answers to my questions, which was incredible. So then you find these two people who are very, very good in their own roles.
Hmm.
And then when they came together, what I really appreciated is the balance that they had. And something that was also a bit of a struggle, actually, for the relationship between the two characters on page was are they in a romantic relationship or is it more of a sibling chemistry? And
Yeah.
what I really wanted was for it to be siblings, right? Or to be two strangers coming together and having a conversation that's as honest as they'll ever get. I didn't want it to necessarily have that undertone of romance.
Oh man.
And that's something that they were able to really balance out despite some of the intimacies of the conversation that they had. And so, honestly, it's a credit to them
Hmm.
and what they were able to do more so than anything else. They did the chemistry test, and I got a sense of, oh, this is what it's like fighting with my own little brother, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm really grateful for both of them to be able to have come together in such a way that's to their own talent and their own abilities for sure.
Yeah, I think they did a great job. And I also think there should be a shout out to Miguel Salcedo, who is your DP. I think he did a really great job matching the shots. It was difficult because you had to match sound because you're
Hmm.
inside, outside, inside, and you're at a space that's really windy. You're in a space that's really quiet. And I think, all of your crew did a wonderful job, but I think, his talent shone through in the movie as you were watching it. I mean, how did you end up working with him? Is he somebody that you were at school with?
Yeah, so all of the crew is is made up of people that I went to school with, and we were all kind of working. We had a month where everyone was working on our own senior thesis at the same time, right? So what was really great about working with the same people though is we kind of got into a rhythm. And for the matching shots, we had another film that we worked on where we created a map of all of the shots and what we needed to match it to. And so we
Mm.
kind of did something similar with my film as well. And it just, yeah, I mean, he's an incredible cinematographer. He did a great job and he was able to adapt to what my vision was for it. And we were able to actually work together and get the product that we wanted, which I think was it's a difficult thing to do. Not everyone can do it. And so I'm grateful to him as well.
Especially when
Yeah.
you're going to school and you have other classes and because I teach
Yeah.
a filmmaking course also at the university, and there's just no way a student can really make a good film in 15 weeks. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that I try to, when I work with young people, to get them to live their film for as long as they can before they actually start shooting it. So
Hmm.
for me, pre-production, normally should take 6 months for a 10-minute film. And and a lot of the kids look at me and, what about Campus Movie Fest? Well, I say the really great films of Campus Movie Fest were started the day after Campus Movie Fest the year before. And
Hmm.
in fact, many of the previous students that went to Rutgers Digital Filmmaking did that, the same thing. And I think that's the only way a really good film can be made. Anyway, I wanted to share screen with our audience and show them how they can purchase tickets and how they can come and check out this film, because I haven't even said where it's going to be playing, when it's going to be playing. So anyway, normally what people will do is they'll go to our homepage, which is njfilmfest.com, and they'll see this image. And in the background is the space where we screen in. This is Voorhees Hall. And all you need to do is just click on current events, which just kind of bounces you below. And you click on the buy tickets for the International Film Festival, which will be taking place between June 2nd and the 11th on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Some Saturdays have double bills, some Sundays have double bills, but all the programs take place either at 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. in person at Voorhees Hall at 71 Hamilton Street in New Brunswick. And the online versions are available again for 24 hours. Each program is $15. And if you want to buy an all access pass, it's $100. It means that you can see basically everything at half price. So all you need to do is click buy tickets, and then it bounces you to our Eventive website, which is where the online version is housed. But this is also where you'll be buying tickets for both the in-person and the online ones. I mean, you can mostly come to the door and buy tickets as well. But there will be a few of the programs that will sell out, so you don't want to be shut out, and it's always a good idea to buy in advance. So when you get to our homepage on the Eventive site, it gives you more information on the welcome page and driving directions, where to go, and where the actual location is, who our sponsors are. But if you click on tickets and screenings, this is where you will end up buying tickets. And Stay Behind is playing with this program called August at 22, which is a feature film. And that, as I mentioned to you earlier, is a really good pairing of the two films. And it deals with young people coming to terms with facing the challenges of getting out into the world. And I think they're both wonderful films, beautifully shot, beautifully acted. And all you would need to do is just click on pre-order now, and it'll walk you through the process. If you want to explore the site more, you can also go to the schedule page. And this is a kind of linear version of where you can see pictures and descriptions of all of the films and the dates that are playing. Each date is highlighted in red. And as we work our way down to June 9th, which is when Stay Behind is playing, here's a picture. We were talking about the images of the two lead actors, and you can see them together here, where you see Olivia and Nico together on the ground, which is one of the sites. And this gives you a brief description. The film is 18 minutes long. And then August at 22, Sophia Castuera's film is an hour and a half, basically. So you get almost 2 hours of programming, and the filmmakers will be there live too, so you can interact with them there. And the great thing about our program, as I've discovered over the last year and a half, is that there's some people that actually come they watch the film during the day online, and then they come to the in-person screening, because each ticket you buy is good for both. So you can take advantage of it. And we had one fellow who started this trend. So he would watch the film during the day, and then he would come and watch it again with the filmmaker and ask questions directly. And now, after a year and a half, we have literally a handful of people that have been doing that. So it's been pretty amazing. So you can also click on the film guide that gives you a description of each of the films individually, and you get to see the posters and other stuff there too. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I welcome you back. And just to say goodbye, I want to say thank you for doing this. This is primarily for our online audience and for anybody to kind of promote the screening, and hope you folks will join us. Andreana will be there, and hopefully some of the cast will be there too. And I know there will be the same for the other film. It should be a really wonderful and festive evening. So I hope everybody can join us. I want to thank you again for participating in this Q&A.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you a wonderful day.
You too. Bye.